Not the 80s, not the 90s, not the 2010s. The most competitive era in NBA history is today. We are far from the monopoly that existed almost a decade ago when the Cavs and Warriors dominated the league at will. Today, the number of teams that seriously aspire to the ring is much higher. This has caused the league to enter an era of parity that has created some of the best playoff series we have seen in recent years.
Here's Jalen.
But we could also put it another way. The number of contenders fighting to win the 2025 playoffs is greater than ever. And in this video, I'm going to make the case for each team. I'm going to go over the reasons why each of these franchises has a real chance to win the NBA this season. Let's jump right into it. It's strange considering the Celtics have one of the best starting fives in NBA history. But the Oklahoma City Thunder look, even to some experts, like the favorites to win it all. A team that last year already experienced what it felt like to be a contending team, and above all, an extremely young team that has already learned what it means to lose in the playoffs. With one of the NBA's best superstars leading the offense in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Mark Daigneault's team is aiming for the best record in the league at the end of the regular season. Everyone expects the young players like Chet Holmgren or Jalen Williams to make a leap in production, even if they are already borderline elite players. But the most important thing is that Sam Presti has once again completed a great offseason, getting two of the best role players in the market. The lockdown defender Alex Caruso and the complete center Isaiah Hartenstein, whose performance was key in the first round of the playoffs against the Philadelphia 76ers.
Drive goes inside, layup, he missed it, Anunoby the rebound.
Two truly spectacular additions that further complete a team that still has assets to make a blockbuster trade at the deadline. In fact, the Thunder are the team with the best financial and athletic situation in the NBA. No debate. But not far behind them are the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that, along with Oklahoma, was the surprise of last season. Chris Finch did an incredible job turning a play-in team into a contender in a matter of months, something that, of course, also benefited from the explosion to superstardom of Anthony Edwards. But Minnesota, in a similar situation to Oklahoma, has a team with plenty of room to grow. Mind you, the changes they have made have been significant. The sudden trade between the Knicks and the Timberwolves, in which Karl Anthony Towns, a first pick by the Wolves in 2015, headed to the Big Apple, surprised everyone. In return, Minnesota acquired the services of Julius Randle. The forward already proved with the Knicks that he was an all-NBA talent. However, his ability to win games has always been questioned. In addition, the arrival of Dante DiVincenzo in the same deal improves the perimeter depth of the Wolves at their disposal. With another star in Randle who can also produce in a variety of ways, Minnesota should be able to contend for anything. But also, Julius's fit with the rest of the team will mostly determine their success.
Randle down the lane for the slam.
Another team that has aspirations to win the Western Conference are the ones that did it last year. Luka Doncic's Dallas Mavericks pulled off the upset in the last playoffs and only had to beat the Celtics to win the franchise's second ring in its history. Now, it's not just the core of the team that has one more year of experience playing together, and it's not just players like Derek Lively who are ready to step up, but the Mavs have found a new secret weapon. One of the best shooters in history, Klay Thompson, signed with the Mavs in free agency, and everyone expects the wing to become a key piece that will create even more space for the two best scorers of this generation. The harshly criticized Jason Kidd has all the tools he could need to turn Dallas into a championship team. And finally, in the Western Conference, we have to talk about the team you can never forget. Nikola Jokic's Denver Nuggets suffered an upset loss in the Western semifinals a few months ago, and they are hungry for revenge. But you can never count out arguably the best player in the NBA, who also serves as the engine of the Nuggets offense. Although Denver has been a team severely hurt by the new CBA, in which owners are reluctant to get into the aprons, the core that won the NBA in 2023 is still present. Or, well, they'll only miss Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in their starting five. But the truth is that the team's current complex contract situation has hurt their depth. Anyways, Nikola Jokic is ready to carry the team to the finals. If we travel to the East and skip the Boston Celtics, there are two teams that seem to be clearly ready for the fight for the title, and one of them is the New York Knicks. No Madison Square Garden habitual fan can complain about Leon Rose's work at the helm of the franchise, because it has been spectacular. Not only because of the signing of Jalen Brunson as a free agent, but for all of the moves that have turned the Knicks into a team that truly represents the demanding fans of the city. With a starting five that will include Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and Karl Anthony Towns, New York has sacrificed some of its depth for a lethal five-man lineup, a formula that helped the Celtics win a ring last year, but has also led franchises like the Phoenix Suns to failure. Thibodeau will be the one with the option to make it happen. Precisely the last team on my list is the one that faced the Knicks in the first round of last year's playoffs.
Sticking with him, can't dribble himself free. Now Embiid takes on Hartenstein. Maxey for three. He got it!
The Philadelphia 76ers come fresh off the heels of Daryl Morey's dream offseason. Of course, the highlight is the arrival of Paul George, but players like Kelly Oubre, Andre Drummond, or Caleb Martin have completed a roster that when the summer began only had 3 players under contract. And although it is a cliche at this point, it is true. We have not yet seen a healthy version of Joel Embiid in the playoffs, a true regular season beast who needs a championship or at least a finals to save his legacy. The Sixers, who also have several first rounders on their property that they can use to get a power forward at the deadline, are up for the challenge. But Nick Nurse has a lot of work ahead of him to get a team going that shouldn't have much chemistry after so many changes. Here's my list so far, and I know many of you will be angry. I know there are fans of several very specific franchises that were hoping theirs would be featured in this video, but I have some good news. Since the NBA is more evenly matched than ever, it would only be fair to add a soft contenders category, because let's face it, nobody expected, for example, the Timberwolves to make it this far in the playoffs at the beginning of the season. However, some people do expect the Milwaukee Bucks to be contenders this year. Giannis is still as dominant as ever, and maybe Doc Rivers can find a way to make up for the loss of Drew Holiday that has affected them so much during the last season. If Lillard returns to his best, the Bucks could stop being a soft contender and become a real contender. A similar case to the Phoenix Suns, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are still one of the best duos in the entire league, and probably the best scoring duo in the NBA. But the sacrifice the team made for Bradley Beal left the roster rotation severely depleted. If Beal can finally perform like a player worthy of his enormous salary, Phoenix could be very scary in the West.
Chance at the last shot. Beal, tough fadeaway.
So could the Indiana Pacers, who enjoyed a breakout season last year thanks to the performance of their star Tyrese Halliburton. Rick Carlisle's revolutionary offense scheme broke scoring records this season, but with such a young roster, the Pacers are capable of making more progress than any other team in the Eastern Conference. So it wouldn't be crazy to see them repeat their appearance in the conference finals, although it's true they did have some luck with injuries last year. Finally, I have a surprise, and that is that no one takes the New Orleans Pelicans seriously. Yes, Zion doesn't seem to be that generational player that was going to take the baton from LeBron James, but he's still a star. Plus, the Pels got DeJounte Murray this offseason and will be reloading the most important pieces of their roster from last season. And now we are really done. This is the final list of teams that I think have a chance to win the title this season, and most of these teams have not been able to win a championship in the modern NBA. So, will we see a new champion? Will the 2024-25 season be the 7th consecutive season in which a different team gets to lift the Larry O'Brien? Grab some popcorn because it's about to start.